All right, everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be diving into the content strategies that we use with Ecom brands. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Jennings. I'm the owner of Phantom Brands, and my company helps build and grow Ecom brands, clothing, direct-to-consumer, supplements, etc., for public figures, but also a lot of existing brands that just want to grow and want our expertise, and we go in and we help them grow. So this presentation is going to be all around UGC content creation systems, short-form content, etc., to grow conversions, exposure, reach, ads, all of that sort of stuff. So let's dive in. This is exactly what we do for brands, so it'll give you a great framework on what it is that we actually do and how it can impact your brand as a whole. So let's talk about the importance of content first off. So one viral video, as I've seen it happen for my personal brand, can change the entire trajectory of a brand. You can go from struggling, no reach, no exposure, to thousands of customers overnight. But you have to understand what you're doing because everybody's competing for organic content. And so it's not the easiest thing in the world to rank the highest, right? And so that's why it's so important to know how to create content, know how to find creators, all the sort of stuff that we're going to be talking about. And it's so high leverage because not only does it help you get the reach and the following of the creators that are creating the content, but it also can be used with usage rights and when you negotiate the right way for your website to increase average order value because people are seeing relatable people wearing the product or using the product, and also conversion rates. It does a lot for trust and certainty to see a real video of a relatable person using the product. So these are the main pillars of content creation when it comes to UGC for ecom brands. We have the brand alignment and the content impact on the bottom. That's our foundation, but it's all brought together by systems. Because if we don't have systems to create this level of content around for each brand, then it's going to fall short. And we can't automate things, systematize and automate things on a consistent basis and get consistent results to scale. So pillar one is brand alignment. Now, this is really diving into who is your brand? What problem is your product solving in the marketplace? Who is the consumer that is going to be buying your brand? This foundation in getting brand alignment with that information and with the content created and the creators, very, very, very important. So in terms of consistency, right? Appropriate tone, messaging, imagery, core values, target audience fit, trust and credibility, all of these things matter a lot. They need to be succinct in order to have effective content. And tips to optimize this is having very clear guidelines for the creator of the content. This is very important. Have best performing creatives, have your fonts, have all of these things already created so it's a plug and play system. Pillar two is the impact of your content, right? And this is obviously very important because we need the content to resonate on an emotional level. The typical cycle of acquiring a customer starts emotional, ends logical. And so as content is mainly on the front lines, that top of funnel, mass exposure that we're getting, it needs to resonate on an emotional level. Does the content captivate the audience? How are the metrics looking, right? What is the relevance of the content? Is it actually hitting the pain point? Is it actually showing and being applicable to trends that are relatable? All of these things matter, and all of these things you can control. So it's very important to get them right. Are the CTAs appropriate? And the best performing content I've seen as of late is storytelling that incorporates the brand. You don't want to create content that is just very marketing, advertising-esque, right? Where it's like, I was suffering from back pain, like a pharmaceutical commercial, right? The best content I've seen recently perform for ecom brands is true storytelling with the product interweaved on the back half of the video. Because the story is very captivating. And a story by somebody that looks relatable is going to hit a nerve. It's going to hit that pain point, and then you place the product as the solution. Systems, very important. Now that we understand the content we want to create and the brand alignment and the foundation, we need to compact this into a system that we can replicate over and over and over again, because doing it one time isn't enough. Volume is very important when it comes to content, especially organic content. And the more data we have on this, the better we know how to create our content. So streamlining and having systems around finding the influencers, which I'm about to talk about, negotiating, review of content, approval of content, publishing, all of these things, having the right tech and software on the back end to look at data, like how the content is actually performing. Was the hook bad? How was the retention? Maybe it got a lot of views, but there were no clicks or purchases. That's a clear disconnect on the content we're creating and what we're looking for if we're optimizing for purchases, which is also very important. And so tracking all of this data is going to be very important in systematizing the entire process for you. Now, connecting the pillars. We want this to be a well-oiled machine. We want us to know exactly where to find the influencers, what our brand wants, what we're looking for, what content exactly we're looking for, and then how to get usage rights and delivery of that content like this. We're cranking, right? We want it to be very, very organized. And so you do that by the triangle. Everything needs to be succinct and connected. Now, in terms of finding the perfect creators, a lot of people make the mistake of prioritizing quantity of followers versus quality. And quality is not only when it comes to followers, but also goes to the content itself as well. And especially on a platform like TikTok, where you can have such insane organic reach, the content matters more than the creator. Unless you're getting a really big name person that is on the billboard and then you're using their name, image, and likeness, which you're probably not, which is what I recommend, the content is more important. So you need to understand who you're looking for. You also need to understand, what do you want to achieve? What is the outcome of this campaign? And maybe it's just a consistent campaign of driving sales, and there's no problem with that. But you need to know what it is, because that is going to determine your strategy in your campaign. Also, who is your audience, right? That brand alignment piece, because we want to talk directly to them. We want a creator that looks like somebody that they can relate to, and we want the creator in the content to talk about problems and relatability that your target demographic is going to hit on a very deep level. And in terms of traits that we look for always in creators, it's authentic, it's high engagement, it's niche, and it's reliability and relatability. Both very, very important. So when it comes to finding and evaluating creators, obviously you're going to look on your main platforms. You're going to have also a bunch of UGC platforms that are going to connect creators to brands as well. Hashtag searches, referrals. Referrals are key, by the way. Do not sleep on referrals. If you can find one great creator that you've worked with on a long-term basis, they have a network. Leverage their network. And of course, when you're assessing, you want to look at the engagement metrics that we talked about, tracking things, not just follower count, engagement, and of course, how do they actually make content? Everybody has their own, sort of unique way they make content. Make sure that resonates with your brand. And build relationships, right? You don't want high churn with creators, because there's a very established process that I went over when it comes to finding them, reviewing content. If you can have 5 core creators that every month make you content, that's way better than consistently having to acquire creators, etc. It's like acquiring a customer, right? And so we want to build relationships, and we want to be tracking what they're doing. How is their engagement rates or conversions? And we want to be tracking based on the optimization of what your campaign is for. What is it for? Is it just for exposure? Is it for followers? Is it for purchases? And we want to be tracking data around that North Star. Very important. And the better content we see hitting those metrics, we're then saving that content as a template in our systems to give to other creators, right? Because then we can build on it. So if you think this is fantastic and you don't want to do it all yourself, we have done for you systems around content creation, finding influencers, managing them, acquiring them, getting their content usage rights, all that sort of stuff. And if you want more information, that is my direct email address. Shoot me an email or click the link. It'll be in the description about booking a free discovery call. What are your brand's goals? Where do you want to scale to? And everything in between. And we'll go from there. Hope you got some value from this, and I'll see you in the next video.